Okay, we're starting a minute early, maybe 30 seconds early, because I'm making up for all the times I was late. Maybe not, but this is the lunch pail half hour. And if I was going to the work job, you know, this would be a good, like, your name on there, man. Nobody's stealing my lunch. Woo woo. Anyway, so this is, and during the lunch pail half hour, we do the dirty work. We do the dirty work. We're in the ditches. We're shoveling the dirt. Woo woo. Somebody's got to be that guy or that team that frickin' shovels. So today's topic, let's see. How does managing calories affect your energy during workouts? Woo woo. And during the day, I think that's what we're going to talk on is because I'm in the process right now. I'm going to try to run a 6-minute mile. I am going to run a 6-minute mile in 3 to 4 months. I haven't run a 6-minute mile in 26 years, but who's counting? Woo woo. So I'm going for a 6-minute mile, the first one in 26 years. The last time I tried was like 3 to 4 years ago, maybe 4 to 5 years ago. And I got and did I got down to like 7-minute mile. You know, I've been, just a lot of slow, really long stuff is all I've been doing for quite a while. So anyway, I'm going to, including swimming and cold water swimming. So the big thing today once I made up my mind, I signed up for the English channel again to swim it. But it's not I couldn't get on till 2027. I never freaking quit. And so I'm going to swim in 2027, the English Channel. But I'm a little burnt on swimming. So I said, man, I need to do something that has to do with running, just so I could feel that, get in there and hang on for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I had to put a little more light on this situation. Anyway, yeah, so I came up with this goal. I said, I'm going to try. I don't have a lot of time to train running. All I've been doing for the last year and a half almost was swimming, right? And so I need to take a little break. So I'm going to take, enough time off to run a 6-minute mile. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. But I knew I had to get my weight down because my weight, when I swim in the bay and swim in cold water, and when I've taken my English Channel attempts, I tend to gravitate around 220 pounds, which is pretty big for me for a running weight, So I just figured like, I might as well, if I'm going to go for a 6-minute mile, I need to really go for a 6-minute mile, because right after I get done with a 6-minute mile, I'm going to be going back up and putting weight back on so I can keep swimming again. And while I'm doing this training, I will do some swimming too. But anyway, so I've had to get really disciplined on my calories to start dropping. I've only been going for like 4 or 5 days, but I've already dropped like 5 pounds. It's boring for me to lose weight. So I'm up at like 221. My goal is to get down between 185 and 195. 195 is on the high side of my running weight, but when I'm really serious and running, I can get, in that 185 range. Remember the last time I did a similar type diet, and I was going to go for 182. I've been as low as 182. That's the lowest I've been in forever. And so I was going to go for 182, and I was down to 185, and I was really restricting my calories, during the last little bit to get down to 182. And I remember I was talking to my coach, and I said, yeah, I've really cut my I think I was like 500 calories a day at the end, trying to get down to that 182 number. And I told my coach, I said, I'm looking up, and I'm looking, I, I'm going out of body and looking down at myself. It's the weirdest thing now. I'm really kind of out of it. She goes, that's because you're starving yourself to death, Bill. You're starving yourself. So I stayed at 185 and decided not to go to 182. But I'm going back down to 195 to 185 to 195, and I'm started out at 221. So I got like 26 pounds minimum to do. My plan is to lose minimum of 2 pounds a week. In the beginning, it'll probably be more, like anywhere from 3 to 5, and then what my discipline is I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose. Lose any less than 2 pounds a week. So what I did when I dropped that 1 year, like I said, after a whole bunch of English Channel attempts, and then when I got down to my running weight, it took me like, I don't know, like 4 months or so, but I was holding in that 800 to 1,000 calorie range, and my same goal is this: lose 2 pounds a week minimum. And it was like, and I just watched my wrestling movie here, and how he got down to weight in that movie, and just how wrestlers do it. They literally like starve themselves at the end, and they're wearing those sweatsuit things where they're all the cut weight sweatsuits, where you just sweat up a storm, and they're like waterproof, like putting yourself in a plastic bag or something. But anyway, I love that stuff, the challenge of losing. But I think what my big thing is, what I'm learning here, is I've cut my calories to 1,000 calories. So probably, I was probably 2,500 to 3,000. I don't know what I was. I wasn't tracking at all. Zero. I wasn't tracking. I eat okay. I don't eat perfect. I mean, when I'm swimming in cold water, I tend to eat, I eat kind of whatever I feel like eating, which is probably goes towards the not that good side, because the more you weigh in swimming in cold water, it doesn't really hurt you, especially in the salt water, because it's very buoyant and it keeps you warmer. So what I've learned, so I went down for like 5 days now, I've been down at 1,000 calories a day. And I'm actually got more energy than I did when I was eating the what if diet, whatever diet, I guess, and kind of eating semi-clean, but not super clean, and throwing in an ice cream here or there, or a sweet here or there. So anyway, I'm down. I mean, I've lost 5 pounds in 5.5 pounds in like 5 days, sticking to this 1,000 calorie a day diet. But what I've noticed, my energy's better. So here I've cut my calories in a half or even a third, and I have more energy than I did when I was, just eating the whatever diet, So I think what's really becoming clear. So what I'm doing to keep my 1,000 calories, I do a big protein shake in the morning, which is, so I do a big protein shake, which has a banana in it. So it's like 370 calories. And then I'll do a big salad at night, and if and I might snack on something, some sort of protein bar or something to get a couple hundred calories if I need it in the middle of the day or something like that, or a piece of chicken or something. But the majority of the time I'm gonna be eating the shake and the big salad with chicken in it, with a vinaigrette dressing, to keep at my 1,000 calories. But what I thought was interesting was I haven't taken a nap since I started doing this. Even though I thought I'd be really sluggish, my training's going, the actual exercise, is going okay. I'm doing 1 to 2 hours a day, I'm doing weightlifting, and stretching. I'm trying to do a lot of stretching. And then I'm also running, obviously, running and hiking. And I just did the Dipsy stairs. I just did like 45 minutes of Dipsy stairs. So kind of breaking it up. But I guess the biggest thing I am is you gotta, boy, you can fuel yourself. So if I went back up to 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories, and I was doing this type of really healthy food and went that high, I would probably be like Superman with energy. I mean, like super energy, you know, where even though you feel like, well, you know, because I watched Phelps, a special on him when he got his 8 gold medals. He was eating like 10,000 calories a day, and he had this big pile of pancakes. And I go, oh man, that looks great. That looks great. I couldn't even eat that much. The most I probably could eat is 3 to 4, 4,000 calories, not even 8,000 calories. But I think what my lesson here is that if you watch what you eat, you know what I mean, and you can do way better on less calories. I'm having better energy now on less calories. That's pretty unbelievable, I think, you know. Let me see what another question is. Anybody got a question? Write it down there. Woo, woo. Somebody was on time today. That's me. Woo, woo. We're celebrating. How do calories stay into building muscle so you're losing fat? I know that's the tricky part. What I've had problems with in the past is I've gotten so weak, so weak that I couldn't train. And that's when you start figuring out what foods give you the most bang for your buck. I mean, honestly, this educates the crap out of me because I used to eat a lot of eggs and I did that, and eggs are okay, but they're not as good a fuel as a big salad and a protein shake in the morning. So it's like I'm trying to, because I did it for months, and when you're on a tight calorie diet for months, you're going to figure out what's your best fuel because you got to still get out there and train. Goggins, he's the guy I got this idea from because I loved it. He lost 105 pounds, I think, to get into Navy SEAL, the Navy SEAL team or whatever, to get in the program. He had to lose 105 pounds to get a chance to try for the program of the Navy SEALs. And he did it in like 3 or 4 months. And he did 1,000 calories a day. And I don't know, if I know somebody else can do it, it just fires me up because I like to think if even Goggins, if anybody can do it, I could frickin' do it. If he could suffer through and train with he probably did a lot more training than I do, but it's still, I'm doing a pretty good, I'm doing almost 2 hours a day on this 1,000 calories a day right now. And so I'm pretty pumped up about it. Woo, woo, Goggins power, man. Anyway, so yeah, I've been doing, so my plan is, I don't want to lose muscle. I'm trying to just lose fat, and I don't know. So like I said, it's a fine line of you're walking where you can train and keep moving, you know what I mean? And get your training in and eat those light calories. That's why you got to really be clean on those calories. I highly recommend it if you've never tried, if you got weight to lose, try losing it and cut those calories tight and see if you can keep getting your workouts in, and it'll let you know where you get your most fuel from, the most efficient place to get your fuel. That's the key, man. Okay. Let's see. How important is the quality of calories compared to just the numbers? Well, I think that's what Phelps learned between the year when he did 2008 and he took all those calories and he was eating all these pancakes and oh my God, his plate was packed with food. It just looked so good. I was like, wow, that looks great. But, and he could burn that off. He was training so much. And, but it was like, I heard when he came back in 2012 or whatever his last Olympics was, he ate a lot healthier and he didn't eat 10,000 calories a day. That's what I heard, because it's more efficient when he was eating less than eating all those pancakes and all that sugary carb food, So Anyway, I'm kind of following Phelps only because he won like 24 gold medals. Probably a good guy to study. Let's see. How important is the quality of calories? There, we just answered that one. Can tracking calories give someone a mental edge in training? I think, like, for me, yeah, if I can get out there and train on low calories and not fueling myself all the way, then when I do put the fuel in, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like having a turbo power. I mean, it's just like, you know, if I throw a goo or in there and I've been, you know, doing this tight calories and then I just do a goo, it makes an amazing impact on my system and my energy, you know. So I don't know, I think it's just so educational for me. I think it just reminds me like it is important to eat healthy, man, because you don't have to eat so much food if you eat healthy, man. It's just, and yeah, I don't know. I have to have a challenge that makes me eat this healthy. And one thing I love, it's like, I don't know, I just love losing weight, man. I was telling Jesse, my life coach, I go, I can't lose a half pound a week. And that's what everybody says, half pound a week. That's what I've heard. It's the ideal amount to lose so you can keep up all your energy and do it. I go, I know, but it's so boring that I end up not even tracking my calories and end up, anyway, I need like enough that it fires me up so I could really get down. So yeah, I'd rather be doing this. And so, yeah, part of my thing too, I don't know if I told you this part, but when I get down, if I don't lose the 2 pounds, and I was doing this last time, I put on a sweatsuit. One of those things the wrestlers wear. It's like a bag thing it's really like a bag over you, whatever it is. You know, they're waterproof suits that they wear to sweat when their match is coming up and they got to lose a few pounds and they're running around. I do the same thing every week. So my weight, when I put a weight up there that I got to hit, the minimum of 2 pounds, it's a drop dead weight. It's drop dead. That means I'm going to run around with that freaking watertight suit on and sweat it off, and sweat off weight until I get to my weight. Woo, that's how we do it. It's called drop dead weight. That's what I call it. Woo. I'm going to make it no matter what. And you know what? I lost like 50 pounds doing it that way. And I was, I thought it made a huge difference for me when I started running, So anyway, yeah, because weight is huge for running. I think everybody kind of knows that, Let's see. Anybody got any other questions for me? Woo. Yeah, I think there is a trade-off on losing the weight and being able to have like full 100% energy, workouts, but you got to get that weight down. For me, like when I ran track in high school, was a 443 miler. And, I weighed 155 pounds. That's a freaking light. That's light, man, for me. 6'2". Let's see. And so, yeah, so I know weight is super important with speed. And if you feel the need for speed like I do right now, you got to get skinny. Woo. Okay. Do elite athletes approach calorie management differently than the average person? I would be thinking they're super efficient, from what I know, they're super efficient with their calories. The people I've been around who are really elite really eat clean, like super clean, It's like, yeah, the ones who are really elite, and especially if they're runners or something where the weight is really important, having less weight is really important. They're all really clean eaters when I'm around them, man. It's like, it's a good example for me because I'm just kind of I'm like half good, half bad, but until I got to lose weight, then I'm like all good. Woo. Okay, here's another question coming in on the board. How can calorie management prevent the hitting the wall feeling in long workouts. I think it can't. That's the big tricky part is getting in those workouts. I'm only going up to an hour right now. So I don't know when I was doing longer runs before. I'm only, because it works out good if you're only doing a 10K. I mean, doing a mile, you only got to really run like for an hour is enough training, you know? And so I can definitely do that on less calories. If I was running longer, which I have in the past, you know, I've had to put more calories on there for sure, you know. I've just had to put more calories in order to do the longer runs. So I would take some goos with me on the longer runs to make them, you know. So anyway, that's that. Yeah. So I would say that, okay, here's another one. What's the simplest way to know if your calories are supporting your workout goals? I think if you're too weak out there, I don't know. I was a little bit weak today, but I said, suck it up, man, suck it up. You're losing weight. and I have a tendency to train too hard anyway, to where I tire myself out. You know, when I'm fully fueled, I'm one of those guys who I like to train hard. And so it's good for me to say, okay, you're keeping your calories down, so just kind of train easier and get the workout in and start dropping the weight, you know. So I think it's good. Just like I'm doing 2 or 3 days a week of doing a little bit of running with my dog, my Pekingese, young Pre Bradley. And which is good for me because, you know, I have to stop every so often and give him water, stuff that I may not do if I was by myself. So, because I really need to, you know, gradually work my training up. So yeah, since I've been doing this, I haven't needed to take any naps. I'm up to, you know, and I know I need a rest day one of these days, like check in with me next year. But I've gone like 9 days without a rest day, which is a lot for me. So I don't know what the record is, but it's not smart training. But I do feel really energized, and I'm able to get out there and get it in. Like I said, I'm not doing anything longer than an hour, or even, I think it's like my longest like 50 minutes right now. But, you know, I had taken a long time off from running, and so I'm getting back into it. So let me see if there's another good question here. What's the danger of overeating calories even if you train hard? I have never been able to out-train what I eat. I thought I could, you know. I have never been able to do it. I can't, if I don't watch what I'm eating and eat kind of pretty clean or somewhat clean, I'm going to gain weight. And that doesn't matter how much I'm training, because the more I train, the more I have to eat. You know, even during the workouts, you have to eat something. You know, if you're going 3 or 4 hours a run, you got to eat something. You know, I can't fast that long. I'm not even good, you know, an hour, that's about it. But anyway, yeah, so the danger of overeating training, okay. The danger of overeating calories, even if you train hard. Yeah, it's just that you put weight on, man. You could put weight on. It's just, I don't know. This is interesting to me. I'm just processing this. So I'm not sure exactly how to process it. I already knew eating healthy and eating salads and protein shakes would work good for me, you know, because I've done this before. But maybe I need a hammer on the head. So, you know, when I get down to my weight, my goal weight, you know, of 195, maybe even to 185 to go for that 6-minute mile, that I'll be able to maintain and not just start going back up, which is what I normally have done in the past. Really, I'm really good at going down, and I'm really great at going up in weight, and I'm really bad at staying the same. That's what I've noticed about myself. Okay, anybody else have that same problem? Lentil Clouds, that's my buddy John. How do you train for 12+ hour event by putting in an hour a day? I'm training for a 6-minute mile right now, John, just so you know. I'm taking somewhat of a break from swimming for a few months or so. And then I'm going to come back to swimming. But right now, I'm just running, man. I have the need. I feel the need for speed. So I'm going for a 6-minute mile. Woo, woo. All right, let's see. Here's another question. What's the simplest way to know if your calories are supporting your workout goals? I think it's just that if you can do the workout, that's the key. I think, if you're, I don't really know, man. I mean, I definitely get a little bit weaker on when you're losing weight and you're trying to train, but that's if I'm really putting in bigger workouts, for me. If I'm down at an hour, I seem to do okay. I'll tell you, intervals I haven't started doing any of those yet, any of the speed work necessary for doing a 6-minute mile. All right, let's see what another question is here. What's the danger? Oh, we already answered that one. Okay, here's one. Does calorie timing of when to eat matter as much as total daily calories? I don't know about that, man. I know people who, I think it's fuel in. I mean, I think the amount of fuel you put in and then out. I know a lot of people like to stop eating at 7 o'clock at night. Even a lot of people eat a lot less than that. The fasting, I've done everything to lose weight. I've done 1 day a week of fasting, for months, man, and done it, but it's like that fasting it's a tough one, that's a hard one to get any workouts in when you're fasting. Can calorie deficits hurt muscle growth even if you lift heavy? I don't know, man. I really don't know enough about it. I think I'm willing to lose some muscle to get down and go for this 6-minute mile. I think the big thing was I was thinking okay, keep my weight at 220 and just do the best I can to go for a 6-minute mile. And then I go, well, I'm not that good that I'm going to make a 6-minute mile if I'm 220 pounds. I'm not even probably going to come close. And so I have to get my weight down. I have to commit to getting my weight down. And I had to go all in getting my weight down to run this 6-minute mile. And then I figure I'll have a year and 3 quarters to put it back on to swim the English Channel. So that's kind of my plan. Anyway, I think the lunch pail half hour is about wrapping up. Look at this. I have the sticker on there now. Woo, woo. Nobody's stealing my lunchbox. Woo, woo. Thanks all you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Next week, lunch pail half hour again. We're in the dirt, and I'm being more prompt on showing up on time. Woo, woo. I don't want to get fired from the job. You got to be there right at the crack of 3:30. Woo, woo. Okay, we'll see you. Bye.